So welcome back to another of our Not Money 2020 video podcasts. Really excited to be joined today by Erik Zingmark, who's head of transaction banking at Nordea Bank. Welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Pleasure.
So it's always really interesting to delve into the Nordics as a payment area because it's been so successful in moving to electronic payments and to some really innovative mobile payment methods like Swish and Vips and
Yeah.
mobile pay.
Yeah.
Erik, what do you think it is about the Nordic market that makes it so ripe for these payment methods?
Yeah, that's actually a question I've been struggling with myself a bit because I don't think there's an easy answer. But I mean, the Nordics have been very innovative the last 100, 150 years. We have a lot of innovation that has happened in the more the ordinary industry. You have the Ericssons, and you have the Volvos, and you have the Saabs, and you have a number of Nordic companies that were very innovative and still are, but they also managed to bring it out in the world. So many of these became global companies with global brands. So there is something around that. But then I also believe that we are early adopters in the Nordics. That is an answer I got, that people tend to try out things quite quickly.
It's also the case that the digital identity market is really strong, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the two go hand in hand.
Indeed, I think that is the single most important factor. The mobile bank ID that we have in the countries is definitely one of the single most important factors why we have come so far. And when you use it and when you realize what it does, then you realize the power of it. It's amazing.
There's a variety of different successes in the mobile space, some more than others. So I think Swish is probably the most successful of the payment methods, whereas Siirto in Finland is still kind of emerging.
Mm.
Are there differences that you can see in between the countries in terms of kind of social and cultural acceptance of mobile payments?
That's a very good question, because I think in Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, we see an adoption rate that is very similar. You are, way above 50 and perhaps 70, 80% of the population using these. The difference is that Swish is co-owned by, if I remember correctly, 6 banks.
Uh-huh.
So it has developed as a sector solution and has been embraced by many people in Sweden and also by all the banks then. In Denmark and Norway, those solutions are developed and owned by mainly one bank. So the journey has been different. And I think Swish is probably a little bit more shallow. There are a few features that you're lacking from the Danish and Norwegian. But it's super simple, and it's embraced by the whole Swedish population. If we look at the Finnish situation, you're completely right that the Finns are paying still slightly differently than we do in the rest of the Nordics. So they are more kind of using their cards, and they are more doing account-to-account payments when they go online. But Siirto will continue to grow, and the Finns are very innovative and very tech savvy. So we will get there in a few years.
And Erik, how do you see the intersection of these Nordic mobile payment methods with the X Pays, the Samsung Pays and Apple Pays and Google Pays of this world?
Another good question. The X Pays, they have so far, and especially Apple Pay, followed by probably still Samsung Pay, actually, because they were out much quicker than Google Pay. They still kind of control the in-store experience. I'm not saying that the majority is paying with X Pays. They're still using their cards, contactless cards.
Yeah.
But they won the in-store so far due to convenience, whereas the mobile wallets that you referred to earlier, they are kind of so far the winners in P2P payments,
Yes.
and also convenient in for really small merchants, but also online, to pay online.
And we've also seen this experimentation with, real digital fiat currency issued by the Swedish central bank.
Yeah.
How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, that is the $1 million question, because as we all know, different countries, different central banks have very different views on the need for this kind of currency. And to be completely honest, I struggle a little bit myself, because I understand that the central bank want to control the disbursement, so to speak, of money in the society. The thing is that we are moving in the Nordics already digital. And I think there is a high risk that the population will be pretty confused. What is it, and when do I use what? And secondly, I struggle to understand how the central banks are going to build up, call it the service function, because they need to have accounts with all these guys, right?
Yeah, well, it means the central bank essentially has to provide retail quality services, which is not...
Yeah, in a way, right? And is that the role they should play? And then also, are we overlapping in society with service functions for more or less the same need?
Yeah.
But I might have missed something, but I'm still searching for the
And there is something of a kind of trend as well, isn't there? So, for example, in Sweden, where, it was I'd say it's probably the economy that's closest to going cashless.
Yeah.
But consumer sentiment is moving a little bit in the other direction. That there's some desire to have, some growing desire among consumers to have access to cash.
Well, first of all, I think it's fair to say that the advocates for cash are stronger and better kind of aligned in that view than the cashless society kind of people.
Okay.
So they have strong spokespersons, and it's quite easy to get the consumer to feel, yeah, that's probably some truth in it. Why can't we keep cash? At the same time, we see, especially during COVID-19, that cash is dropping quickly.
Of course.
So cashless cards, mobile payments is growing, including online e-commerce. So I think, but I also have respect for the tail in the society. We have people, elderly people, we have people that just came to Sweden from other countries. We need to take care of their needs and respect that before we try to kind of fully digitize the society. There is still a need for cash. And unless the industry is solving that, then we will have a very expensive tail for years to come.
So while we're just talking about the future there, lastly, let me ask you a bit about P27, this really interesting initiative to have a kind of single Nordic payment system. How do you see that emerging, and what stage is that out right now? Where are we going to be over the next 12 months?
Yeah, I think we expect to go live in about a year. So there is still some work to be done to get all the licenses and approvals. And sometimes I reflect upon how cumbersome this is, but we also need to remember that we are building something that hasn't been built before. We are creating something where all central banks and all financial FSAs, that is, need to agree. And we are also doing something that has a dramatic impact on society if we would fail. So it is a very complex operation. And why are we doing it? Well, we are, aside from Finland, running 3 small currencies in 3 small markets.
Yeah.
And we need to have our needs satisfied. So if we are to wait for continental Europe to help us and provide what we need, we will probably have to wait a long time. But we are also securing that we can connect with whatever it is in the future. So we can definitely connect with continental Europe. we are SEPA-fying all our payment instruments. So everything is SEPA, but it is with a twist, i.e. another currency.
It's kind of SEPA with a Nordic flavor.
Yes, indeed.
So Erik, unbelievably, 10 minutes goes so fast. So, I mean, that's been really interesting. I find, the emergence of different payment methods and this kind of new pan-Nordic system fascinating. Very grateful for your time today.
Of course.
Thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you.